This is MEGA Venusaur EX, and playing this deck sometimes feels like cheating. And no, not the type of cheating that got exposed at the Pokemon Latin American International Championships. This deck is capable of doing 3 different things that most decks can't. And in the Pokemon TCG, if you're able to do any of these kind of things with any deck, it just feels broken. So the fact that you can do 3 different things with one deck is pretty crazy. Hey, my name's Christian. I am a semi-competitive Pokemon TCG player. I'm sponsored by the store Comfy Hobbies. You can use my code down below. And I'm also sponsored by Endgame TCG sleeves. For this deck, I use the white Omegas. I'll show you guys those in a second. They just did a restock. MEGA Venusaur EX is one of the first few Mega Pokemon that were released in the base set Mega Evolution set. This deck definitely did not live up to the hype. A lot of people were thinking it would be some sort of like tank deck where you would pair with cards like Hero's Cape and Wally's Compassion and basically have a massive 480 HP MEGA Venusaur EX. However, there are much better ways to be playing it, and so for this deck profile slash guide, I'll be sharing with you guys this 60 card list that took first place at a city league in Japan. It's like a massive best of 1 tournament. If you guys want to see this deck upgraded even more with my own personal twist on it, I'll have actual gameplay and a sort of quick TED Talk deck profile uploaded later on the channel, probably tomorrow. But for now, this is a very simple core 60 list that is pretty consistent, I have to say. And right now in the Pokemon TCG, the meta is shaping up in a way where MEGA Venusaur EX is looking to become a more and more viable anti-meta rogue deck. So if you've ever wanted to take a jungle dump on your opponent, now is definitely going to be one of the best times that you can. Jungle Dump, what a freaking name of an attack, bro. So let's switch over to the card camera and address the allegations as to why this deck sometimes feels like you're cheating. Here is my beautiful MEGA Venusaur EX deck. We're using the white Omega Endgame sleeves. Again, they just restocked these sleeves online, and they just dropped a matcha green color, which I have yet to get in, so I'll show you guys what those look like soon. If you enjoy using high quality products and want to bling out your deck outside of your Pokemon cards, check them out. Again, code SNEAKERTALK, and you'll get 10% off, and you'll be supporting the channel because I will get a commission if you buy these sleeves. So in this deck profile slash guide, I'll be sharing with you guys a bunch of the general game plan for this deck, how it operates, and also some tech inclusions you might want to experiment with, because there's definitely room to upgrade this deck. There is some areas where it's lacking, and we're also going to address those as well to customize your deck to your own personal preference, and of course so you can play and adapt for your own local meta as well. First, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or this massive tree Pokemon, MEGA Venusaur EX. It is a freaking thick unit, 380 HP, which is insane. It's a Mega Pokemon which evolves from Ivysaur, and you have the ability Solar Transfer. This is one of the first things in this deck that feel broken. As often as you like during your turn, you may use this ability. Move a basic Grass Energy from one of your Pokemon to another of your Pokemon. So the second the Grass Energy hits the board, you can move it anywhere, regardless of the type. So there's no restriction on that, which is really good. One of my favorite item cards in the game is called Energy Switch. It's an item card which allows you to basically use this ability once. So the fact that if you have this MEGA Venusaur on the board, you can just move energies unlimited amount of times feels absolutely broken. It allows you to set up new attackers out of basically thin air, similar to how Gardevoir is able to set up attackers when there's energies in the discard pile. Then you would have to like Artisan or Nest Ball them out. MEGA Venusaur EX can kind of do something similar, but the energies have to be on the board. And of course, there's really cool combo plays you can do with this card, like say if you wanted to use Wally's Compassion. Wally's Compassion says you have to bring those energies back into your hand and you heal up your Mega Pokemon. So for example, if you don't want those energies to leave your MEGA Venusaur, you just move them to a different Pokemon, use Wally's Compassion, and then move them back onto the MEGA Venusaur. But of course, there's going to be times where you want those energies back in your hand, because you can use the abilities of Pokemon like Teal Mask Ogerpon EX, use that Teal Dance ability, +1 draw, get the energy on the board, and then transfer them over back again to the MEGA Venusaur. So that is the first sort of like cheater kind of ability, which is busted. Unlimited energy switch in an ability. Next up, let's talk about the thickness. We have a thick attack cost. Jungle Dump here says for 4 grass energies, you're doing 240 damage, and you get to peel a little damage off as well, 30, which is a pretty nice number because of course Monkey Dories are always throwing 30 at you anyways. And then you have the massive retreat cost of 4 energies as well. So let's address the elephant in the room. 4 energies for an attack that does 240 isn't all amazing. Most of this broken power comes from how big this Pokemon is at 380 HP and the ability. Now, this attack cost is really only 2 grass energies once you actually have the other Pokemon on the board, which is really strong and is also kind of like a cheater level of ability, and we're going to get to there in just a second. But keep in mind, this Jungle Dump attack really only costs 2 grass energies, not 4. So yeah, Mega Venusaur EX, really strong. You can actually use this attack to instantly KO many basic EX Pokemon. And of course, there's a lot of times where your opponent straight up is not going to be able to win a KO a 380 HP Pokemon. Now do keep in mind, as all Mega Pokemon do, they give up 3 prize cards. So if Mega Venusaur goes down, that is going to be a painful one. So do keep that in mind. Next up, let's get to the other Pokemon. 2 copies of Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is 80 HP, so it is a little sad that you can't use a card like Buddy Buddy Poffin to just bring it out really easily, but 80 HP is fair considering that if you were to, this deck would be even more busted. So we have the Bind Down attack for 1 grass energy. It says during your opponent's next turn, their defending Pokemon can't retreat. So this is a very strong retreat locking attack that only costs 1 grass energy for 10 damage. Very strong attack, and some players in the past have even combined the power or the ability of the fighting or ground type Pokemon Relicanth with this deck, so that if you wanted to, you could use Mega Venusaur EX and clone the attack, or use the earlier previous versions of its Pokemon as Bulbasaur. You can use that Bind Down attack, so you can even retreat lock with a Venusaur if you really wanted to. And there's going to be some matchups where you straight up can just win or steal turns away and prevent your opponent from progressing their board state by using this Bind Down retreat attack. So very strong attack on a basic Pokemon that's going to evolve into our main dude. So Bulbasaur at 2 copies. Next up, we have 2 copies of Ivysaur. Ivysaur is also very important because we want to be able to quickly and easily evolve into our Mega Venusaur EX. So we have 2 copies of Ivysaur. We have the Razor Leaf attack, 2 grass for 60 damage, or 1 technically you could say, and then 110 HP. It also has 3 retreat costs, so all the retreat costs for these grass Pokemon are a little bit painful, so hopefully you don't have to pay those real big retreat costs when it comes down to it. 2 copies of Mega Venusaur EX, the mascot, the poster child of this deck. 2 is just the right amount. If you go for 3, I think that's just going to be too much. This deck has a lot of different like combo cards in it, and you kind of want to not overdo it on some of the lines. You want to have a sort of consistent count of all these Pokemon across the board. So 2 Mega Venusaur EX. Now I will want to also address one thing. A lot of players are playing this deck essentially without Mega Venusaur EX. The Meganium in this deck that we're going to get talking about in just a second is really good. It's one of the best cards in the deck. It's equally as important as the Mega Venusaur, you could say. But Mega Venusaur is a 3 prize Pokemon, and the ability of Solar Transfer isn't always necessary depending on your deck. So a lot of players out there are also converting this sort of Mega Venusaur EX grass box style of deck into Hydrapple EX, or a Teal Mask Ogerpon sort of attacking deck. There's a lot of different ways you can build this Mega Venusaur EX deck, and it doesn't have to necessarily even have the Mega Venusaur. You could just call it Grass Box and go from there. Next up, let's get to the next major Pokemon of this deck, Meganium, starting off with the basic form of Chikorita. Chikorita, thankfully, unlike the Bulbasaur that has 80 HP, Chikorita has 70 HP, so it is Buddy Buddy Poffinable if you do want to play Buddy Buddy Poffin in your list, which you honestly might want to. So we have 2 copies of Chikorita with the Razor Leaf attack for 20 damage. Next up, we have 2 copies of Bayleef, 110 HP with the push down attack. Switch out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench, your opponent chooses the new Pokemon. So you basically hit your opponent for 50 and then you iron bundle essentially their Pokemon out of the way. They bring in something else. You're never going to really want to attack with Bayleef. It does come up in time where push down does help you out, but you just want to evolve into the Meganium as quick as possible. And that's because Meganium is our next broken cheater level style of Pokemon, you could say, for this deck. So let's read it together. It has the ability here, Wild Growth. So in the Pokemon TCG, you're only allowed to attach 1 energy per turn from your hand. And basically, this is going to count as 2 attachments for a turn for all your grass energies onto the same Pokemon. So it says here, each basic grass energy attached to all of your Pokemon provide 2 Grass Energy. The effect of Wild Growth doesn't stack, so you can't have 2 Meganiums on the board and it becomes basically 4 grass for one grass. So only 1 Meganium at a time. Meganium is also a very strong single prize attacker. If you ever do need to attack with it, it's going to basically cost you 2 Grass Energies, and you have the Solar Beam attack for 140. So you can now imagine the combos that are cooking up with players when you can use MEGA Venusaur's EX ability to move energies around, and all those energies are going to be counting as 2, which is busted. So those 2 broken abilities right here are just insane, and that's why a big part of this deck feels like you're kind of bending the rules in your favor, kind of like cheating. The closest thing I can compare MEGA Venusaur EX's ability to is Blissey EX, which only allows you to move 1 basic energy per turn. So MEGA Venusaur has no cap to that, which is really, really good. For real, for real. This ability has been printed on other Pokemon in the past. I believe Fire decks have also had something like this at one point, and Water decks also have had something, but now it's Grass's time to shine. And you know, with all those dark decks out there, Charizard EX, Grimmsnarl, Mega Absol, it feels pretty good being able to play Grass right now. This is probably one of the most competitive times, or one of the most optimal times that you can be actually playing a Grass deck competitively. It doesn't feel like you're throwing. Next up, we have Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. This is not a card that should be new to many of you. This card has seen its way, or snuck its way, into many decks out there. We have 210 HP with the Teal Dance ability. So basically, you'll be able to get 2 energies on the board, or even 3 if you actually use these Teal Dance abilities. So once per turn, you may attach a basic grass from your hand to this Pokemon, and then you draw a card. So if you have 1 or 2, you know, you're getting bonus draws out of that. On top of that, if you do have Meganium on the board, your Myriad Leaf Showers are going to be hitting for much more. You only need 2 Grass Energies to fulfill that 3 attack cost, so you'll be hitting for 6, 12, and then 30. So 150 base for just attacking with the Teal Mask Ogerpon, and then an additional 60 for each grass, or yeah, each grass energy on this Ogerpon, or 30 more damage for each energy on your opponent's Pokemon. Teal Mask Ogerpon EX does have dual functionality in this deck. It is a draw engine Pokemon, but it also is a solid attacker as well. And it also doesn't hurt the fact that this is a Terra Pokemon too, so if your opponent does have an Area 0 on the board, your board will get to go wide, and you do have built-in bench protection. Next up, let's get to the other 2 attackers in this deck. We have Regigigas. Regigigas is a really strong anti-meta Pokemon attacker. It is a 1-hit KO attacker for Terra Pokemon. I think all of them can pretty much get 1-hit KO'd by Regigigas. So all you need to do is attach 2 Grass Energies to this Regigigas. That's going to count as the 4 energy attack cost, and instead of doing 100 damage to Terra Pokemon, you're doing 330. So all you have to do, of course, is have Regigigas on the board, move over, or just get 2 energies onto the Regigigas with the help of MEGA Venusaur or a manual attach, and your Regigigas can cook. Now, at times it does suck if you do start it, but that's sort of the double-edged sword when it comes to a lot of these powerful tech attackers. The thick retreat cost is going to be a little bit painful at times, but you can always still attack with this Pokemon for 100 damage with just 2 basic grass energies on it. And yeah, Regigigas is really clutch. You're gonna keep this in your back pocket till the very end and maybe take your last prizes with Regigigas. Now, the other Pokemon that's new to this deck that got included with the new set Phantasmal Flames is this Genesect. Sometimes you're not able to take down those last 2 prize cards you need, or in the active, or you want to hit a really important Pokemon on your opponent's bench. Genesect is a sniping Pokemon, and what I mean by that, it has the Bug's Cannon attack. It says here for 1 Grass Energy, this attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each Grass Energy attached to this Pokemon. So if you want to snipe an opponent's small little baby Pokemon on the bench, all you have to do is transfer some energies over with the help of your MEGA Venusaur EX, and your Genesect's power, its damage, will scale with each energy that goes onto it. Of course, we don't just have MEGA Venusaur for the energy transfer, but we also have the Meganium for those energies that count as 2. So you're basically going to be able to do 40 damage for each grass energy on this Pokemon to any Pokemon on the board. Now do keep in mind, this is going to be blocked by Terra typing on Pokemon such as Teal Mask. So don't accidentally waste an attack by hitting a Terra Pokemon on the bench. Genesect is really good if you want to take your final last 2 prizes on, say, something like a Mew EX on the bench, a Squawkabilly, a Fezandipiti. Genesect is a really strong surprise attacker. However, in my personal build, I've actually cut this card out myself in place of a Buddy Poffin because I really value setting up my Chikoritas and my other Pokemon up instead. Let's talk about another big problem, or the most popular deck in the game right now, Gholdengo EX. Well, Gholdengo gets a lot of its power from being able to recycle energies out of its discard pile with the card Superior Energy Retrieval and Night Stretcher and whatnot. So we have to play a 2-2 line, or at least this deck plays a 2-2 line of the Toedscool and Toedscruel. So Toedscool is another card that can also be buddy poffinable, which is important for me. That's why I cut the Genesect so I could have an easier time getting these guys out onto the board. So we have 2 attacks, Kick and Absorb. We're never attacking with this. Don't even bother reading the text. We just want to get these on the board as quick as possible. What we're really playing them for are the Toedscool right here. We have the Slime Mold Colony ability. It says cards in your opponent's discard pile can't be put into their hand by effect of your opponent's abilities or trainer cards. So this is going to turn off very important cards for many decks, such as Night Stretcher, Superior Energy Retrieval, and Lana's Aid, for example. So recovery cards do get hurt really bad by Toedscruel, and you basically, Gholdengo EX is you could say a rough paper matchup with the weakness. We're hitting into Gholdengo with resistance built in, but when you have this card in your deck, Toedscruel, that matchup gets flipped on its head and you become a much favored just by having these in your availability in your deck. However, of course, if you're not going to hit a Gholdengo EX deck, because only 25% of the field is Gholdengo, it still is a really good ability which you can just set up anyways, and it is a good one prize attacker if you wanted to end up attacking with Toedscruel. Now, in my own personal build, I've actually gone down from a 2-1 Toedscruel line. I cut one of the Toedscruels for this guy right here, Toedscruel EX. Toedscruel EX is another really strong, underrated Pokemon. It's underutilized, and when that Grass Box player, I forgot their name, but they popped off at a regional, I think they had Toedscruel EX in their list. So let's just quickly read Toedscruel EX because it's in my own personal build, which I'll be talking about in the gameplay video I do upload. You have 270 HP, stage 1, so it's going to evolve from your Toedscool. And of course, it's going to pair very, very nicely with our Meganium's ability, being able to attack for just 1 grass energy. So we have the Colony Rush attack here. It does 80 damage base, and it says this attack does 40 more damage for each of your benched Pokemon that has any grass energies on it. So you're going to use that in tandem with the MEGA Venusaur, spread out your energies across your bench so that your Toedscruel EX can hit some pretty big numbers. Now, the highest amount of damage that Toedscruel EX can hit is 280. We got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So if you have 5 Pokemon on your bench that all have grass energies, you're gonna hit that 200 for the bonus damage there, plus the 80 base. 280 isn't as significant now because there's V-Star Pokemon just out of the game that aren't 280, but there are a lot of those stage 1 Pokemon, such as Regigigas, such as yeah, you can crush a Gholdengo. No, you can't crush a Gholdengo because Gholdengo's 260. But yeah, you can crush a lot of Pokemon out there, especially like ability like Pokemon such as Fez, Mew, Miraidon. There's a lot of decks out there that Toedscruel is a viable attacker. Now, we are also playing it not mainly for the attack, but the ability that this one has is really good too. Protective Mycelium. I think that's pronounced correctly. Prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to all of your Pokemon that have energies attached. So some of the biggest use cases that this effect blocking ability does come in handy for is for Dragapult EX. We're going to be able to deny damage counter placement from the Phantom Dive attack to any of your Pokemon that have energy on it in the on your side of the field, on your bench. Another big use case for this is, of course, Monkey Dory's Confusion. You will no longer be confused. And then you're also going to mitigate or turn off the retreat locking effects of attacks such as Yveltal's Clutch or another Bulbasaur's Bind Down. Any sort of retreat locking ability, Toedscruel will block. So if there's sort of effects out there that are going to hurt you, you block them. There's strong attacks that are like effects as well. I get Absol EX, for example. The Terminal Period, that is an effect. So you just block Terminal Period and you block all effects. So really, really strong defensive Pokemon cards. So we have Toedscruel EX and we have Toedscruel Jr. Last but not least for Pokemon, we got Fezandipiti EX. This card is a must-have for pretty much every deck out there. Just that Flip the Script ability is really good. And of course, I've actually been able to take knockouts with this Cruel Arrow more consistently with this deck than any other, because of course with Meganium, we do only need 2 energies for Fezandipiti to do some sniping. 10 basic grass energies. The next broken card we're going to be talking about in this deck is Forest of Vitality. This card released alongside the MEGA Venusaur EX at the same time in the Mega Evolution base set, and this card is broken. This is a card that lets you instantly evolve your Pokemon the same turn it hits the board. So, you know, the regular rules of Pokemon state you have to wait a full turn for your Pokemon to evolve. Well, Forest of Vitality says, nah, not today, unless it's the first turn of the game, because that would just be way too broken. So it says here, each player's grass Pokemon can evolve into grass Pokemon during the turn they play those Pokemon, except during your first turn. This version of the deck only runs 3 copies of Forest of Vitality, but if you really wanted to maximize your chances of getting it on the board, you would probably want to play 4 instead. But we have 3 in this case, and I find 3 to be really solid. Haven't had too many issues. A really strong play that you can have with Forest of Vitality is if you have a Pokemon such as Mega Venusaur damaged on the board, or you have a Pokemon stuck in the active and it's stranded there, such as Meganium or whatever, then you can use a card such as Professor Turo Scenario, bring up the Pokemon completely, add all those Pokemon cards to your hand, and rebench it and instantly evolve all the way up to the stage 2 in the exact same turn. The ace spec in this deck is also insanely good. We're playing Max Rod, we're talking about it more later, but Max Rod lets you take 5 cards from your discard pile and add them back to your hand, either Pokemon or energies. So if you play Max Rod and you have Force of Vitality out, you just instantly get to play your Pokemon that was knocked out earlier, or just if you have all those pieces in the discard pile, they can instantly evolve into the biggest, girthiest, thickest versions possible. So 3 copies of Force of Vitality. This is the 3rd and final sort of like cheat code level style of Pokemon card in this deck. This is going to be a throwback for all my gamblers out there who like to play Miraidon with Electric Generator. We have 4 copies of Bug Catching Set. This card is a lot of fun to play, and the chances that you actually hit 2 cards are really, really high for this deck. It's very satisfying pulling this off. So it says here, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal up to 2 in any combo of grass Pokemon or basic grass energy. So it feels really, really good in the early game. If you're able to hit something like a Teal Mask Ogerpon in a grass, you just grab the 2 and then you Teal Dance instantly and get a bonus draw. If you get even more grass energies available, you can just Teal Dance those onto your other Teal Dances, and it allows you to find all these different grass Pokemon in your deck that you just want to evolve. And you pretty much want all these grass Pokemon on your board, so it's really, really, it feels really good just to hit anything, which you usually will, because 7 cards is a lot, and you have a lot of options that you can target in your deck. So unlike if you played Electric Generator back in the day with Miraidon, and you know, you had that dissatisfaction of only looking at the top 5 and then whiffing or only hitting 1, and then you kind of just like lose the game almost on the spot if the generators are failing. Bug Catching Set is Electric Generators 2.0, but for grass. So if you want to feel that thrill again, that fun RNG of looking at those top cards, this card or this deck is definitely for you. Next up, we have 3 copies of Nest Ball. Now you might be wondering, why the heck 3? Why not 4? Well, if you didn't notice earlier, we have 4 Bug Catching Sets, and those basically are a bunch of Nest Balls as well. So yeah, 3 Nest Balls seems pretty good. And I personally still play 3, I think, in my main list, but I have a Buddy Buddy popping in as well because I really want to get that Chikorita set up and that Toedscool as well. So yeah, 3 Nest Ball for this particular version. Then for the other ball in this deck, we have 4 copies of Ultra Ball. Being able to search out exactly the Pokemon you want by just sacrificing 2 cards in your hand is really beneficial, especially if you just need that Mega Venusaur, that Meganium, whatever it is. You might have one piece in your hand that you need, but the other isn't available. It's in your deck. Ultra Ball helps you get there. Now, real quick, 2 Pokemon cards I forgot to mention that are not in this deck that you might want to include, or 3 actually. 3 cards I want to mention that might make your list. They actually make my list sometimes as well. Include Mew EX for that restart ability, that free retreat, and the genome hacking. Of course, it pairs well with Meganium, so Mew EX really good. Another really strong card for this deck might be Latios EX to get that guaranteed free retreat for your basic Pokemon. The last thing you want is a big, thick retreat cost Pokemon in your active just stuck there, so Latios EX is a solid option as well. And the last card that I would possibly recommend too for this deck is the Mega Kangaskhan EX. Mega Kangaskhan EX is really, really strong. You have that ability as well, draw power for the Pot of Greed, the top 2 cards of your deck, you draw them if it's in the active. And of course the attack is really strong too, so you could be attacking with Mega Kangaskhan EX for a couple of turns as well. Really strong card. And again, all those cards just pair very well with Mega Venusaur or Meganium because of the abilities that these cards have, and they also pair very well with the Hydrapple EX if you want to play a Hydrapple variation. So 4 copies of Ultra Ball. Next up, let's get to the recovery. We have 2 Night Stretchers. Night Stretcher is just really good in this deck if you had to Ultra Ball something away earlier, or if you need that particular Pokemon that's in your discard pile. Night Stretcher is going to help get you that Pokemon instantly, and you can just play it pretty much instantly as well if you do have the that tree on the board. And of course, if you want to get some more draw or just more power on the board so you can actually attack, you can always just grab a basic Grass Energy from your discard pile. You can start Teal dancing away or just attaching, and then those Night Stretchers are just really good. They get a lot of value in this deck. And of course, our ace spec, the recovery ace spec of choice is Max Rod. This is one of the only decks in the game that actually use this ace spec, so if you have Max Rod, make a Venusaur EX deck, you may as well. Max Rod is super good. Put up to 5 in any combo, Pokemon, and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. So unlike Super Rod, where it goes into your deck, Max Rod is just like Night Stretcher. You get it instantly into your hand, and just being able to grab a whole line, a basic, a stage 1 and a stage 2 from your discard pile, or a bunch of Grass Energies just feels absolutely amazing. Next up for supporters, we have 4 copies of Lillie's Determination. This card is definitely one of the best cards or best supporters in the game right now. Shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 6, and if you have 6 prize cards, don't draw 6, draw 8. Really good. Seeing so many cards in your deck is insanely handy, especially if you're going to be, getting all these Pokemon that can just instantly evolve the second they hit your hand. Is just super great. And of course, we have the where are they? The Bug Catching Sets that basically multiplies your 1 card that you drew, which was the Bug Catching Set, into 2 more, which should be Grass and a Grass Pokemon. So yeah, 4 copies of Lillie's. You have to have 4, don't have less. It's a really good card. For Iono is also very strong, being able to disrupt your opponent's hand, but also just have a lot of draw power and see a lot more cards in your deck. You don't really need to play Arven. You really want to see a lot of cards in this deck just to play up the tree of vitality. Really strong. However, a card that we don't have in this deck is Dawn. Dawn is so good. Highly recommend it. In my own personal version that I have customized for my own liking, I play 1 copy of Dawn at the minimum. Being able to grab a basic stage 1, stage 2, goes crazy with a Forest of Vitality. Just imagine you have the Forest of Vitality on the board already. You play Dawn, you instantly get to special summon essentially, or you can pick and select the different pieces you don't have available and add them to your hand. So say you have Meganium in your hand but you're missing the Bayleef, you just grab the Bayleef. If you need the Venusaur EX, you can grab the Venusaur EX. So Dawn, a really good card, especially paired with Forest of Vitality. You might have a version of this deck that plays even 2 or 3 Dawns, but yeah, really good card, especially with Forest. So yeah, 4 copies of Iono, just really good, very similar to Lillie's Determination. 2 copies of Vaz's Orders. Being able to gust what you want is really important as well, just to attack and hit those things that you want those prize cards from. This deck doesn't play Counter Catcher. You might want to throw in 1 copy of Counter Catcher. The thing is that we don't have ways to search it out like Arven. Typically you can Arven for Counter Catcher. We don't play Arven, so we have 2 bosses here, and that's why this deck does take advantage of that Genesect we showed you guys earlier. Having that Genesect just allows you to not need boss if you're going to be able to snipe exactly what you want. And then the last card we have in this list is Professor Turo Scenario. Really great to just pull off those liabilities on your board or take away those 3 prizes from your opponent that they thought they were going to get by knocking out a Mega Venusaur. Just Professor Turo Scenario, bring up your Venusaur, and then you can plop it right back down if you really want to. Here's the full 60 card list. If you guys want to give it a try, let me know in the comments down below how you're building your list. I'll have the full list in the description down below. You want to copy and paste it into Pokemon TCG Live, and of course I'll have some gameplay of my own personal version of Venusaur up on this channel tomorrow, so look out for that.